Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. Really excited for this video. We are getting an opportunity to expand the Raleigh garden. If you followed along with this project, we're going into our, I guess, probably 5th spring at this point in the installation of this garden in Raleigh. And you can see it here. We're in January, and things, despite the fact that this has been little colder than the last few Januaries for sure. Everything is actually looking pretty good over here. But we're really excited because the adjoining lot over here actually belongs to the city of Raleigh. And we had a couple people throw this out over the last few years. It would be great if the city of Raleigh was to allow you to garden the adjoining property. And so we started down that path several months back, and we've jumped through all the hoops, and as of last Tuesday, the city council gave us the opportunity to garden this property that's next to the property here in Raleigh. And if you followed along with us, we have this thing filled up over here. There's 300 and some species I counted last year in the Raleigh garden. Of course, it's winter time, so it's a little asleep, and there's some cleanup to do. We've got some compost that we're about to recompost the vegetable garden and all kinds of other projects here in this part. But this part just became available to us, and it's actually pretty big. I'll go back over here to the back edge of it. It's actually somewhere about here, and really it probably adds about at least 50% more space. And really, without a house and a driveway and all the other things, it probably is 75% bigger. Now, this is going to be all natives over here. That was the agreement we had with the city of Raleigh, that we would basically create a garden based on a teaching space, based on sustainability, and based on using native plants. And so we're basically going to have this is a city space, and people will be able to actually visit it. So we're going to have a path from our garden coming over here, but it will be a defined space as well. It's going to be a single path coming in to a gate. We'll show you this in just a minute. And then basically a long oval circular path, a football shaped circular path going around in here. And then we're going to plant it with, again, it's going to be all native plants, named cultivars of natives. We're going to visit a lot of different nurseries to gather these plants up, so we're really excited about that. We have a lot of friends in the world of native plants, with native plant nurseries and other opportunities. A lot of people we've met over the last several years to add to that as well that we haven't visited their nursery, so we're really excited to show all that off, creating an all native space. We have to get to the starting line though. We've got a lot of invasives, and this is pretty typical of the city of Raleigh. This is, Chinese privet back here that needs to go. We've got lots of other ligustrum as well, broadleaf, Japanese ligustrum. We've got the English ivy, got nandinas, lots of invasives in this space to get rid of. And again, it actually goes back to about another 3 or 4 feet from here. I don't know if I'll clear that out immediately because we've got so much space back this direction. This lawn space, or mowed lawn space, which we've been mowing for a long time, also has the typical liriope and mondo grass and a lot of creeping Charlie and a lot of the kind of weedy things. I'm sure there's a little bit of Bermuda grass in here as well. So there's a lot going on here. This has to be dealt with. We're going to have wood chips, brought in here. This is typical of the way we'll start a garden. A lot of our native perennials aren't going to want to be in necessarily. We have this open garden, and you can go over to our website if you're interested in coming to our open garden this summer. So when I said several weeks ago, when I announced the open garden for this year, I said it was going to be very different. Part of that was the hope that this would be part of it. So this is, hopefully between now and June, we can make a big impact over here. It won't be finished looking like this is over here where we've had 4 years, but there should be lots to look at in this garden by June 20th. So if you're interested in getting tickets for that, it's over on the website. And you know, as you're coming here this June, if I put wood chips down now in January, they're not going to break down enough to add some of the perennial plants that we'd want to put out here. They're just, you know, you need to have that wood chip material break down a little bit. It'll be fine for the shrubs and other things we're putting in here, but there'll probably be some delay on a lot of the herbaceous things that we put into this space. But we'll just see how that goes. So again, it is from back here. I don't know how many feet. I should probably measured this before I started a video. But you can see how far this actually is. There's a giant Chinese privet here. And it's kind of coming out of the gentleman's fence, you know, that his property backs up over here. And so I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to, I got to get rid of everything that's overhanging this, right? So that we're going to cut a lot of it back. But unfortunately, you know, it's a giant Chinese privet. And then we're leaving the turnaround. We're on a dead end road down here. And we have to leave this turnaround. So it'll be right about here. We're going to put some sort of low fence that has a permanently open end right here that starts the path back here into the garden. So this will be the beginning of the native teaching garden that we're creating for the city of, you know, basically for the city of Raleigh. So we're going to, you know, be able to slow the water down on this property. You know, we're going to be able to, you know, show how to use native plants effectively in a garden, and also show, you know, getting rid of a lot of these invasives, which unfortunately the seed bank under this thing must be there must be 500,000 seeds on the ground here, you know, that are going to continue to try to germinate over the years. You can see how it's colonizing underneath, where all the seedlings have come up over the years and the root suckers have come up over the years. We kind of let this thing get pretty big on purpose over the last few years. Again, we do maintenance here, and the gentleman back here will occasionally come over here and mow, but we generally do the maintenance over here, and we kind of let this thing get big a little bit just to kind of block it off, you know, from, you know, just having traffic over here in general. We just ignored it on purpose for a while, but now ignoring it on purpose, now it's gigantic. So again, there's some invasives to take out of here and some grass to get killed, and we'd like to probably get the turnaround that's back there in slightly better shape, because it tends to be a little wet where people have to turn around and then they track mud back onto the street. So I'd like to get that in slightly better shape just for the people that are turning around in here. But really excited to get started on this. We need to make some space over here where we've got some things a little overcrowded. So there's a couple clethra that are coming over here, an American beautyberry, a viburnum that's in a little too much shade back there. So the first few natives that are going in here are actually from our existing garden, but then from there, we're going to go out into the world and shop. And hopefully that's going to be an exciting part of the process, is visiting lots of native nurseries, gardens across the country and getting ideas. You know, we obviously won't use all of those ideas in this space, but hopefully we can just show this off. So teach it on the YouTube channel and teach it here, you know, on the city of Raleigh, North Carolina's property. So anyway, we're really excited about this. It's a big project to jump into. We have all this, I know this doesn't look particularly good on right this minute. We got all this organic material here because we're in the process of building some compost bins. So we've been saving all this organic material along the edge. And then I'm shooting a video talking about gardening while there's just piles of things and bags of things, but all kinds of projects that'll be going on this spring. So hopefully, from the YouTube channel perspective and for the city of Raleigh, hopefully we can create something here that's interesting and shows, you know, how a lot of our native plants can be great ornamentals, you know, and be used effectively out in the garden, and we'll continue to improve, you know, the existing garden over here at the same time and just meld the two kind of together. Again, this one will be a separate garden. It'll have a single path out to maybe here, and then it will have some sort of loop path around, and then we'll tie a small piece into our existing garden over there so that we can, you know, when we have the open garden, it can all be toured in some sort of logical manner. So there you go. If you're interested in coming to the open garden in June, hopefully this will have made a giant impact on this between now and then, and it will be something that it'll be very different than it was last year if you came to the open garden last year. So thank you guys so much for following along.